Welcome back for another video to Recalibrate with Nate. And in this video, I just wanted to address some questions that I get quite often, which is raw food bland? So this is a really interesting one because it can taste bland to the majority of the population who would tap in and eat some raw food dishes, depending on how those dishes are made. And the reason being is that because what is in our food, the most of the food, packaged food, canned foods, restaurant foods, it's just loaded with salt. So much salt. There's lots of different oils. There's even sugars involved. Something that would be savory still has a little bit of sugar. So it's called the SOS, right? The salt, oil, and sugar. So a lot of our food today is just doused with these kinds of things, making it to where if you were to eat something, say a raw salad, it might taste a little bit more bland depending on the ingredients that are in the dressing. Now, raw food by itself, depending on where it's grown, I've had some stuff out of my friend's garden that actually has a kind of a salty flavor because of the nutrient that is in the soil that he grows from, in his garden. So that right there, though, I wouldn't be able to taste if I was eating the standard westernized diet because my palate has changed over time. So raw food to me is the most amazing tasting food. I can taste flavors like I've never been able to taste before. In the beginning, though, when I first started to eat raw foods, I came from a vegan diet, which was basically loaded with all kinds of different additives and sugars and salts and oils to make it palatable, and taste good to keep you coming back for more. So that's the part that's really tricky. A little story here is, we would get a salad from Chipotle. Being raw foodies, we're like, well, we can get a fresh salad at Chipotle, let's go there. So we would get salads at Chipotle if we're out and about and we didn't bring any stuff to snack on. And we would stop in and grab these salads. We would get the taco lettuce because it's shredded up a little bit more fine than the actual lettuce. I like my lettuce chopped up a little more fine than the salad lettuce that is there. But we would also get the mixed greens on top of the taco lettuce to get more lettuce, right? Because they're kind of skimpy on the lettuce. And then we would say, okay, give us 2 scoops of pico, which is the fresh pico de gallo, tomatoes, onions, and maybe what else is in there? I think green peppers, not green peppers, green onions. So it's just pico de gallo, fresh. And then we would say, okay, give us a couple scoops of corn. Now we know the corn did have some cooked peppers in it. It's not necessarily completely raw. And, that can be a controversial subject in itself. Corn being this bad thing, GMO, and it's going to mess you up or something. And then we would get the guacamole. So we'd have lettuce, pico, corn, and guacamole, and it would taste really good. We would throw a little hot sauce on there. But then one day we're like, you know what, let's type in just to see how much salt. Because after eating raw foods for so long, we would go there and have that salad. We would taste the salt like, man, this is so incredibly salty, and it's a fresh salad. Come to find out that salad had nearly 2,400 milligrams of sodium, 2,400 milligrams of salt. The average American, they say, is eating 3,600 milligrams of salt. Probably there's many people out there getting 5,000 milligrams of salt. It is just an incredible amount of salt that is in our food. So what that does is it kind of dulls our taste buds. And when we actually go to taste something that is fresh, say like a peach or a fresh salad of some sort, good greens, all these different vegetables, a dressing with some dates and some garlic, you might be like, it's a little bland because it's not a lot of salt in it. That's what's so nice about preparing your own food is you know exactly what goes in and what stays out. So I would say that raw food, yes, can taste bland when you haven't adjusted your palate to taste the food anymore because it's so say, stimulated from all the salt that is in today's food. And now salt, of course, is a great way to preserve food. So when you buy, say, canned beans, or maybe you get some salsa, some fresh salsa, even the mango salsa, you get fresh mango salsa at the store. It's in the nice little clear plastic container at Whole Foods or something. Even that is loaded with salt because it helps preserve it. Holds on the shelf a bit longer than if it was completely fresh. Because really fresh food is perishable. It's not going to last very long. So in a lot of ways, the average individual coming over to eat some raw food, it can taste bland. Say if you're blending up a bell pepper, maybe some mangoes and a jalapeno, you might taste those three ingredients alone, you might be like, this is kind of bland if you're not used to eating raw foods and you eat a lot of salt. So it's interesting. Raw food is anything but bland. The thing that's tricky is our palate is so muttered from being overstimulated with salt, we can't taste the flavors of these raw foods the way that they actually taste. We want the sugar. We want it to be oily. We want it to be salty. And these are the sorts of things that could make raw food taste bland, but raw food is anything but bland. For me personally, I felt like it took a month or so before I was actually able to be like, wow, this tastes incredible. And when I would eat something that I maybe had ate before, like my sister made some oven baked French fries, and she made like a vegan ranch, which I was really proud of her to make this ranch. It was so incredibly salty because she had to, roll the potatoes in oil. And then she made like a garlic, I think it was garlic oil that she doused them all with. They were delicious in a lot of ways, but it was so salty. And it kind of made me think like, wow, raw food is definitely not bland, but we're just overstimulated from all the salt that is in our food. But it does take a little while to recalibrate your taste buds. And the only way to do that is to start ingesting more fresh, raw fruits and vegetables. You start your morning out with a smoothie, you eat fruit for a snack. I'm talking like eat a whole bag of grapes. Even if it's $10 for that bag of grapes, that's a great snack. Kind of can be spendy. There's some other fruits in your areas, or maybe you can just eat a cucumber. Cucumber with a little lime juice on it. That is so delicious. Cucumber and lime juice. Just try that out. Or put some dates on a stick of celery. The celery's kind of salty. The dates are kind of sweet. These things are amazing. When you eat them on a day-to-day basis, you'll start to recalibrate your palate to where you can actually taste the raw food for each and every little piece that is in there. Like you'll be able to taste the cumin if you have some cumin in a dressing, or maybe you put a little dash of cumin in your pico de gallo, your guacamole. You can actually taste the stuff so much better. Raw food is anything but bland. 100% anything but bland, but we've just been inundated with so much salt. But it can make it kind of tricky because, as an individual who is maybe just coming into this way of eating, or this mindset that like, maybe I want to eat more raw foods, sometimes it can be tricky because you don't know what to make. So that's where we have come up with recipe plans, meal plans, and recipe books, things that you can follow, a guide to follow to make it easier for yourself to start ingesting really tasty, delicious food. And of course, the more you eat it, the more you're going to crave it. Your body's going to be like, I want that salad with that amazing dressing you made the other day. Give me that again. When you think about the French fry, maybe you need to have the French fry again. And then you can actually compare how you feel after eating the French fry, or the chips and salsa, and you can actually taste how much salt is in this food and how much more amazing the raw food is. Raw food, though, does take a little time for your palate and your taste buds to acclimate. But after you eat more raw fruit and vegetables on a day-to-day basis, it is absolutely wild how much more your taste buds can actually pick up. Like a bell pepper, to me, now is so delicious. It needs nothing, just a plain old bell pepper. A red bell pepper, orange, yellow, those are the ones I like the most. The flavor is out of control. But coming from how I used to feel, say, 10 years ago or something. Somebody hands me a bell pepper, I'd want like a thick creamy ranch to dip it in or something, or maybe like some broccoli, steamed broccoli. There's nothing wrong with some steamed broccoli. Steamed broccoli by itself, so bland. I would want salt or maybe some cheese sauce on it. Now, when I have broccoli, even just a raw piece of broccoli, it's incredible how much more my taste buds can pick up the different nuances just within that raw piece of broccoli. So, but it does take a little time. Go easy on yourself. If you're tapping into this way of life of eating more fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, go easy on yourself. But definitely, I encourage you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. And like I said about the meal plans and the books, we're running 40% off. I'll link it in the description below. Raw Food 40, you can get 40% off any of our meal plans or our recipe books. And these are created to help you incorporate more of this kind of food into your day-to-day life. That way, you'll be able to see how amazing these sorts of things taste. It's absolutely wild. But in a way, our systems are set up to keep us coming back, and it's just everything is so loaded with salt, oil, and sugar. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Some of the questions out there, raw food is anything but bland. It's just we have to recalibrate our palate, and we have to do that by excluding some of those foods that aren't necessarily optimal for our health and well-being. More fresh fruits and vegetables are going to serve us in so many ways. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends, and we'll see you on the next one.